Hey there, and welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. There is no Andy or Kirk with me today because it's 5:30 in the morning and it's far too early for them to be here doing any sort of video. However, I felt that I was uniquely placed within the channel to talk about the subject today and get your viewpoints, because this is something we want comments on. This is not something where you just want to watch it and not get involved. This is something we want you to be involved in the discussion. So if you don't know us about the A.D.K channel, we've been doing YouTube for a couple of years now, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. We've definitely put the cat amongst the pigeons because we generally get a lot of controversial topics or thoughts on music. Not intentionally, we don't go out to cause controversy, but we do tend to get a lot of trolling or hate comments and stuff like that. So, but we like a debate. We honestly, we go into a lot of our videos for debate reasons. But one thing we have always done is we've supported local grassroots music. And in 2024, we launched A.D.K Presents at the 66 Bar in Cambridge every month, which was basically a live event we put on. We booked the bands and effectively took on a bit of a promoter role. And part of this was to understand the challenges promoters have, because we'd seen really bad attendances to local grassroots scene, and we wanted to understand what is the barriers. And we've understood a lot of those challenges, as it is very, very difficult to advertise for shows and get your ads seen by the right people. That's the big challenge. So we've been doing these gigs for a while now, and the purpose, as you'll have seen from the topic, is all talking about guarantees, because this is one of the big challenges. So when we set up our gigs, the way we do our A.D.K Present shows is purely on profit split. But what we try to do is keep our costs as low as possible so that at least we can get those covered. So really, our only cost is we pay the sound guy, we get a basic beers and waters for the bands, so they've got something to drink backstage in the green room, and we might put 20 to 40 pounds worth of Google ads targeting the local area for people that are into rock, metal and live music. That's basically all we will do. We won't try and spend loads, just because there's no point. The venue's 150 capacity. If we spent £200-300 on advertising, we've then got to make sure we have full price tickets, or if we do advanced tickets, we need to have at least 90 people through the door on advanced tickets from a 150 capacity venue just to cover our costs. And that just doesn't seem feasible, because it's just not known for grassroots bands for that to happen. So we weren't in a position to spend that sort of money on advertising. So we want to keep the costs low, allow bands to promote it themselves. We'll promote it by just manually promoting the shows to Facebook groups and stuff like that, and trying to put it in front of as many people and come up with creative ways of promoting the show. So that's how we approach it. But then for 2025, when booking shows, we got approached about one of our vacant dates, about doing a couple of bands that were coming through and doing tours. They wanted to put a date together for part of their tour package, and it matched one of our vacant dates. So happy to talk to them, and they wanted £300 guarantee plus an 80-20 split of profit, which is quite excessive for the profit. So initially we looked at it and we were thinking we could probably do £300 guarantee plus maybe a 60-40 split, and the 40 wasn't going to go to us, it was going to go to the support bands that we were going to put on. We just wanted to make sure we covered our costs. But when we started thinking about this, there was one thing that kind of didn't sit right with me, which is, having spoken to management of these two particular bands, when they were sort of telling me about the tour, they were like, these bands go out and they sell 100 ticket plus on every show they do. So my thought now is, so why do they need a guarantee? Oh, yeah, they're travelling, they're doing costs. But if you can say that you can sell 100 tickets on every show you do, and it's only 150 capacity, surely an 80-20 profit split, which is what we offered in the end, would be fine. With no guarantee, we've just got to get our money back there. But if you can guarantee that you're going to... And that's the worry. So we're, as a promoter at this point, we're being asked to guarantee money for the bands, but there's no guarantee for money back to us. Now, this is where it comes interesting. As a musician myself, I do understand where the band comes from. So the band they've got fuel costs to get to the gig. You've got your rehearsal time. You've got your music. Now, you've got your writing of your music, recording your albums. But here's the thing. So your music and your album, your rehearsal, that's not my problem. Because that's actually really, you can utilise and make money at a later date. But for the gig, I only get that one chance to make money on that gig to get my money back. If you a year later you're playing a gig at somewhere else, I'm not going to make a percentage on that next gig somewhere. So really, I get one chance. Whereas you have a chance with your rehearsals, your music, you can recuperate money in other ways later on other shows, etc. So, or through streaming platforms, through videos, through advertising. So you can do other ways, physical merch sales, stuff like that, which I can't do that with your gig. So I only have that one chance. I do understand the fuel issue, and that's why we try to put mainly local bands, unless a band from out of area really wants to play our show and approaches us about doing it, and works on the profit percentage. So I do understand it, and even with my band, we've kind of said, look, if possible, can we just have like £100 for, because it's like a 2-hour drive to get there. If the venue comes back and says we'll be purely on profit, we're usually like, well, we'll assess it whether it's worth us to do the journey. Because here's the thing, we know we can't guarantee a crowd. Most bands can't guarantee a crowd, and as a promoter, and this is why we're seeing more grassroots venues going down the routes of tribute bands, because tribute bands will get a crowd. Covers bands will get a crowd. Now, venues, because they make their money as well on the alcohol sales, they can afford to do a covers band guarantee. And that makes sense, because the band's going to be playing there for 2-3 hours over a night. This one band, they should get a certain amount of money, and the venue's going to make their money on the bar, and it's going to drive footfall through. But local grassroots bands, 4 bands on a night, 30-minute sets, are not going to drive footfall to the bar on their own. They're purely going to be people that come out specifically for those bands. Now, if the bands have done their advertising, they've been promoting their band all over the place, which is basically what bands should be doing. It's about them promoting their music, not necessarily the show, but then they do post about their show. As their followers go up and people find out about the show and they really want to see them live, they will then come across to the gig. As they come across to the gig, we then cover our ticket costs, which is our basic minimum, which effectively, if we have about 25 people turn up to the gig, we're covered. Then we don't take any more profit, and we give the profit to the bands at that point. But we have to get to at least 25 people through the doors for us to at least achieve that. So in the end, this tour didn't happen at the venue because we weren't prepared to go down the route of the guarantee. Now, there are people that have said that when we've talked about A.D.K events, going, that's disgraceful, you have to give bands a guarantee. But then my answer is, well, it's disgraceful then if I have to give them a guarantee, they need to give me a guarantee. And this is where you're almost getting back to pay to play, which we don't want. We don't want to be turning around to bands going, you need to get 20 people through the door to justify it, to get some money back to you. Because we're not doing that. We don't ask bands to guarantee a certain amount of people. However, we're not going to guarantee them a certain amount of money because we're going to take a loss. And we do take losses on most shows. So we've covered our costs a couple of times, but generally we've lost money on our gigs. But we still put them on. We still book them because we want bands to have a chance to play shows. They're all trying to build a following. They're all just inviting a few people. Over time, we build up a network of contacts. So every gig, we get people buying concert tickets. We then have their concert details. So we can then send them an email about updates and future shows to let them know what else is coming back through on A.D.K Present. We can do these videos. Sorry, I've got hiccups this morning. But am I wrong? This is the thing. So in this day and age where grassroots venues are not getting the turnout that we would hope because people just don't have the money to come out to the amount of grassroots gigs, and they're saying that venues are closing all over the country, but I think the problem here is there's loads of bands, there were loads of venues, venues are trying to put gigs on all over the place, and there's just not enough people coming out or wanting to come out to watch them. And also we've got so many tribute bands now. I've never known a period in time where there have been as many tribute bands as we currently have. And I think that has a massive negative effect, not necessarily on the quality of original acts, but the fact that people have got a choice on where they spend their money. And if they're just wanting to go, they're going to take a risk on a load of unknown bands, or they're going to go for a tribute band playing music that they love. They're going to go for the tributes, and we can see that happening day in, day out. So we'd love to see more people coming out to grassroots scenes. We've talked about ticket prices historically and the challenges that has about trying to push ticket prices up because people just can't afford it. When you go past the £10 ticket on the door or in advance. People just are really like, I don't really want to. But we've also got bands doing free entry shows, and that doesn't work. I find people do a free entry show and they still don't go out, because the ticket, as I mentioned on another video, the ticket is the cheapest part of the night. Unless you can get the beer prices down and travel costs down, it's just not worth it for people. So this is why we try to keep our costs as low as possible. And remember, I spend hours every day pushing gigs, pushing the venues, pushing the shows. I don't pay myself for that. I'm not getting paid as a promoter. So at the end of the day, all the work I do, the 35, 40 hours a month that I might do, it's probably twice as much. So let's say around 60 to 70 hours a month of online promotional work that I do around the bands. I don't get any money for doing that work. That's stuff that I do just for the love of doing music. So when you're saying to me, the bands go, oh yeah, but we're having to go into rehearsals. Guess what? I'm having to do all this as well. And I'm having to do the promotion, but we're not getting paid for that, and you're not getting paid for yours. So we're all in the same boat. And that's the reason why A.D.K Presents does not do guarantees for bands, because unless we can get a guarantee from a band that they're going to give me a crowd, I'm not going to give them a guarantee that I'm going to pay them apart from purely on profit. But what I do tell them always in advance is how much I spend beforehand. So I will never go over 200 quid. And if I do go over £200, then that's out of my decision, and I'm still only guessing my maximum is £200 per show to cover the costs of the venue, sound engineering, and anything else that I need, which is about 50 quid to cover me for a few beers and some advertising. Once I hit the 200 quid, if I go and spend another £50 on advertising, that's my choice, and I'm not going to get that money back. I don't take that out of the profit for the band. So that's how I run it. 200 quid is what I've got to get back out of it. So let me know what you think. Am I being a bit of a hard ass on it? Is it the right way to do it? And please do feel free. I mean, bands sort of say they want guarantees. I understand that, but I can't guarantee it, because simply put, you can't guarantee me anyone's going to come and watch you. And there's only so much I can do to say, look, this band is playing. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching today, and I'll see you with the rest of the guys, with Andy and Kirk, on another video sometime very soon. Take care.